and what this means for people who use TikTok. There are a lot of folks out there, this is their business, this is their livelihood. And I guess we should note, to what Ellie was talking about a few moments ago, there have been reports that the TikTok CEO plans to attend the Trump inauguration. So perhaps they'll pull one another aside at some point on Monday and have a discussion about this.
Yes, and we know that in the last few minutes, President-elect Trump said he has spoken with the Chinese president as well, and TikTok came up in that conversation. The TikTok CEO has been living in the U.S. trying to work this political negotiation, but here we are right on the edge now, Jim. You know, for a lot of TikTok users who have built their lives on this platform, there was a little bit of denial when the ban was first passed by Congress. People didn't really believe this was going to take effect. It seemed like it was months off in the future. But now that the Supreme Court has ruled, this is a moment of truth, including for those users. And as you said, those business owners who rely on TikTok. We're going to see users trying other platforms. Now, this week, we've seen users in America gravitating toward other apps owned by China. That's precisely the whack-a-mole situation you described earlier, where people are going to these TikTok alternatives you see on screen. Some of them, like Clapper, are US-based. They've gained more than 1 million users in just a week. But some of the other ones, like Lemonade, that's also owned by ByteDance, and it could be impacted by the ban in the future. So where will users go? How will businesses be affected? Those are two key questions going forward.
Yeah, and Brian, I mean, Trump did put on Truth Social that he has been speaking with Chairman Xi Jinping of China about all of this. And I suppose if he does delay this ban from taking effect, I mean, one could argue that he is doing Xi Jinping a huge favor here, just as soon as he's coming into office. I mean, there has been a lot of sound and fury up on Capitol Hill from both sides of the aisle, quite frankly, over the last couple of years about the dangers of TikTok and how it opens up the floodgates of Americans' data to the Chinese. And Trump would be doing Xi Jinping a solid here, wouldn't he?
After coming out 5 years ago and calling for a ban. We're only here today talking about this because Trump was calling for a ban in 2020. He back then seemed to recognize the possible danger that TikTok posed. His reversal on this has been stunning and is a big part of this story. But, you know, in the end of this Supreme Court ruling, it goes back to Congress and says, look, Congress made this decision for a reason. Congress has determined the divestiture is necessary to address its well-supported national security concerns. One of the first questions for President-elect Trump, once he takes office, whether if he ever holds a press conference, if he's interviewed by journalists, one of the first questions is going to have to be about TikTok and about his decisions here about national security versus, quite frankly, his popularity on the platform. Because in recent weeks, Trump's posts about TikTok have emphasized that he has a lot of fans on TikTok, that some people have told him, you got reelected because of TikTok. That's been the message that he's been emphasizing. Not concerns about China, but his own popularity on TikTok.
Absolutely. And the relationship between Trump and Xi Jinping goes back to the first Trump administration. I can tell you from talking to my sources back then, and I've reported this on CNN, they apparently have a good, close working relationship. And that has been the case since his first time in office. I'm going to go to Elena.